at West Side Decorating Center. Good morning to you. This is the orange barrel season and the traffic season. People heading north. There's a lot of construction. And one of the things you have to be aware of is traffic safety and those things that keep you safe. And one of the other things you have to be aware of is the Michigan State Police are here to help you do that. And with me this morning in studio is Lieutenant Kim Vetter. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're doing well, Kim. Thanks for joining us today. Lieutenant Vetter is the Public Information Officer for the 3rd District of the Michigan State Police. And you've been doing that for a while now. How long you've had that?
It's been about 4 years.
Yeah. Take that mic, turn it toward you. Just kind of wrote. There we go. So there's a number of things. Last week we had a few minutes to talk about Click It or Ticket. So let's start there because that's an annual campaign.
Right. Click It or Ticket runs through June 1st, but we are always looking for seatbelt violations.
I was going to say, Click It or Ticket through June 1st. If you think on June 2nd you could take off your seatbelt, don't do it.
Right. Well, we know that seatbelts save lives. Seatbelts work together with the other mechanisms in the car to keep people safe, including airbags, but one does not replace the other. We really need everybody to still buckle up, even with all of the other safety features in your cars.
Let me ask a question. It's a little off the wall, but we had a caller the other day talk about this. Tinted windows. What constitutes a violation of the tinted window law?
Well, in Michigan, the tinted windows, you can't have tinted windows further down than a couple of inches on the front side windows and the front window.
Front sides, not the rear passenger.
Right.
Rear passenger, rear window. But the windshield, you can't have tint other than tint across the top, right?
Right. Most vehicles come out of the factory with some tint along there anyway. Where the problem runs in is when people have the tint running halfway down or all the way down the windshield.
And the reason for that is?
Well, it obstructs people's vision, especially in darker lighting.
Is it enforced?
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's one of those, and I explained to him, he called up, he said, well, this is what they ought to be enforcing primarily. And I said, well, there are other priorities. If they can take somebody off the road 20 over the speed limit, they're going to do that before they stop a tinted window. And that's true, isn't it? I mean, you really look for the aggressive driver first and foremost, don't you?
Well, yeah, we want to keep people as safe as possible on the roadway, but we also know that vision obstructions can cause issues with traffic as well.
So Click It or Ticket goes on through June 1st as a campaign, and you have a lot of other departments helping you out. It's not just the state police. You have the locals are helping.
We continuously have projects and efforts with our law enforcement partners to try to keep the road as safe as possible. We'll be enforcing all the traffic laws, including speed, seatbelt, driving distracted. Michigan is a hands-free law state, which means you cannot have a device in your hands while you're driving.
We'll talk more about that. I want to talk about speed for a minute, though. A number of years ago, when they increased the speed limits north of Saginaw up to 75 miles an hour, have you seen any increase in accidents because of that? And have you seen an increase in speed because of it?
It seems like people are driving faster and faster all the time. I'm not sure if the one caused the other, but we know that people are speeding, and we're catching them all the time speeding. Anybody who drives on the roadways knows that people are speeding. We just need people to slow down because we know that when crashes occur at a higher speed, there is a much higher rate of serious injuries and death.
And let's also talk about the thing about roadside safety for crews that are on the road. For example, if I see a state police officer pulling somebody over and they're on the right shoulder and I'm in the right lane, what does the law require me to do?
You must slow down to 10 miles an hour under the speed limit at least and move over if possible. So we're not asking you to pull into oncoming traffic, but if the lane is free and you can get over, you should do so.
But if nothing else, you have to slow down 10 miles under.
Absolutely.
And that goes for both lanes, even if you pull over, right? Even if I cross over into an empty lane next to me,
you still have to slow down.
I'm supposed to slow down.
Correct.
So that leads us to the next zone, the work zone. And this one is, to me, solvable, but takes money. And here's what I mean by that, Kim. I've traveled in other states, and I've traveled in Pennsylvania a lot because I had family there. If you get to a work zone on, say, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, at the beginning of the work zone, there's a patrol car sitting there with its lights on. And when you get in the middle or toward the end, there's another patrol car there. Whether there's a troop in it or not, it tends to slow people down. And we don't do that in Michigan, do we?
We sometimes do have concerted efforts in those construction zones. We'll place patrol cars there for enforcement in those zones, especially if the construction crews have said that they've been having trouble with traffic in that area. But we don't put a patrol car in every work zone. First of all, there's too many in Michigan right now. There's a lot of construction zones operational, and so we just don't have the manpower to do that, and it is expensive.
So let's talk about the fact there was some talk of speed signs and speed cameras at work zones. Where are we with that?
Yeah, so there was some legislation recently that allowed for that to happen, but that's something that's going to be managed by MDOT. The Michigan State Police will not be handling any of that enforcement or the setup of that system. So MDOT is working through that system.
You mentioned that magic word, enforcement, though. Will these cameras have the capability of capturing license plates?
The law allows for that, yes.
And what about license plate readers? Are all the cars equipped with it now?
No, not all of our cars are equipped with LPRs. There are several LPRs in the area, but they are used for locating vehicles that have been involved in a serious crime in the area, and they can check those cameras to see.
They've been effective?
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk for a minute about bad habits in driving. The first one, which is illegal handheld cell phones. The law requires what?
The law requires that you are hands-free, so you can't have a device of any electronic sort in your hands. So a tablet, a cell phone, any of those devices cannot be used or held in your hand while operating the vehicle.
Okay, I want to separate something out here, because if I'm sitting in a parked car with the engine off, not running, I'm not driving, can I use my cell phone?
Yes, you're not operating the vehicle.
I'm not operating the vehicle. But if I turn that engine on, even if I'm standing still, I can't have that cell phone, right?
Are you on the roadway?
Well, I might be on the shoulder, not a parking lot.
Okay. Well, if you're operating a vehicle on a roadway,
Then you cannot have it.
Correct.
Have to be hands-free.
Correct.
And how are we doing at enforcing it? Because it's difficult, because I mean, I see it all the time.
There have been a lot of tickets or citations issued, but there are still people using their cell phones all the time. One of the biggest infractions we're seeing is when people get to the stop sign or stop light, they're not moving, and so they stop and check their phone quick, and that is a violation of the law.
Yeah, worse yet, you see it with, up to the year. We're going to take a break, come back one more segment ahead with Kim Vetter, Lieutenant Vetter from the Michigan State Police 3rd District.
Every great story
Back with you, talking to Lieutenant Kim Vetter from the Michigan State Police 3rd District, where she's Public Information Officer. What got you into policing, Kim?
Well, I was in nursing school, and
Sure, that makes sense.
yeah, and decided that wasn't for me, and kind of fell into it. Got hired as a 911 dispatcher, and here I am, almost 25 years later. So,
Well, it's still a step, though, from 911 dispatcher into the state police school. What made you decide to go to the streets?
I really enjoyed what I was doing, but I wanted to be out in the public and hands-on.
And you got it, huh?
I did, yep.
Were there any surprises when you went to the academy?
There were a lot of surprises. I didn't anticipate that it would be something different every day. That's one of the best things about this job.
Yep. So let me ask you this. The academy today versus when you went, you got out in 2000. Has the academy changed in its teachings very much?
We still prepare our troopers with everything they need to be successful. And the format's a little different. We had typewriters back then.
Yeah, now you got computers in cars.
In carbon copy. And now, we have computers in the cars and printers in the car, and everything's modernized. And we prepare our troopers for modern policing.
And, I think it's a shame in a way, because after George Floyd, policing took a big hit in the media. And the thing that always got me is it's a few bad apples that make it bad for the tens of thousands of people who put the uniform on every day. And, it's just now that we're beginning to see a bit of a reversal where the efforts to defund are going away now, and communities are beginning to realize that that was a mistake, big mistake. And we need public support for police officers. I mean, it's critical.
Well, the role of law enforcement is to provide support to the community and keep the community as safe as possible.
And, there's a lot of ways to do it. The state police are one agency, and, of course, you have broad jurisdiction. You're all over the place. But community policing and cops on the beat really, it was the wave of the past, and it should be the wave of the future.
Well, the state police actively host and involves ourselves in community events. We have an event coming up on June 12th here in Saginaw, Troopers on Tour, which is a basketball cop foundation event open to the public from noon to 3 in Saginaw. And there's one in July. I think the 19th is the date in Flint. So but we're always doing activities in our communities. Our troopers are always out there in the schools, teaching team lessons on safety, conducting car seat checks, doing whatever they can to help the community be safe.
So right now the academy is about to get underway with another class. Next one is what, January?
We have a school starting in July and another
July.
one January scheduled.
And how is recruiting? And if someone is interested in a career in the state police, what do they need to do?
They need to go to michigan.gov/MSP jobs. They can look up videos on what it takes to become a trooper, what it's like to be a trooper. You can look up pay scales. You can connect with a recruiter in your area. We currently have multiple areas around the state that offer workouts. Basically, they're meant to prepare potential troopers for the academy to help them be successful so that they don't go in not understanding what is going to be required of them physically. And we have lots of programs. This summer we're putting over 100 students, high school students, through youth academies to help give them an idea of what a career in law enforcement has to offer. We're looking for good people who want to help their communities and help keep their communities as safe.
That really is a key. You talk to police officers and to a person, I've always wanted to help my community. I wanted to help the citizens. You hear that all the time. And it is true, isn't it? It's a foundational part of being a police officer.
You can't be a good law enforcement officer and not care about the people that make up your community and the people that are needing assistance. People call us on their very worst days, and so it's important you have people that have compassion and kindness and also the ability to take action when necessary.
If someone were interested, is there a way to get, for example, a trooper to come to a classroom and talk about policing?
Yeah, they can contact their local post, and we'll be happy to send somebody out to speak with them. If they are interested in joining the state police, find their local recruiter and connect with them, and they'll get them all the information they need to be successful. We also have a cadet program, explorer programs throughout the state that people can engage in that will help them understand better what it takes to be a trooper.
And for you, it's been a great career.
It's been a great career. Yeah.
And you still have time. Now, you've been at it almost 25 years now.
Almost.
Almost, but not quite.
Not
And even you managed to raise a family in that time, which is great. Well, Kim, first of all, it's a pleasure knowing you. And Kim and I are on the same committee, and I've known her for quite a while now. And you are a credible representative for the Michigan State Police.
No, thanks, Art. Thanks for having us.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to learn about the Rock Center for Youth Development right after these notes here on the Art Lewis Show.
Some people are just obsessed.
Our thanks to Lieutenant Kim Vetter for spending time with us. Now we're going to learn about the Rock Youth Development Center. This was recorded earlier a week ago for Play Now. So here we go to learn about the Rock.
Good morning and welcome
To Matt Fallon for doing the interview. It was a focus scheduled for a while back, and we had a conflict, so we wanted to make sure we heard it, got it on. And Matt was kind enough to record it, and we were happy to play it for you today. And we'll take a break, come back, tell you what's ahead on Focus today.
Weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Art Lewis Show. Back tomorrow, of course, with lots more. Coming up on Focus
It's
in just a
Barclay
few
Van
minutes.
Camp and Robbins.
Whoops, pushed the button there. Didn't mean to do that. Coming up on Focus, we have information about the SVRC Marketplace and the adjacent farmers market. After that, following, I'll get it right, before that, we'll have news from CBS and the local report with Michael Percha in the WSGW newsroom. I'm Art Lewis. We'll be back with Focus right after the news.
Broadcasting from the